Good morning, everybody. This is Dave here on Dave TV on DCRTV.com. It's the Friday the 13th edition. Friday the 13th edition. You know, yesterday I was over at Starbucks hanging out with some friends, and somebody left the New York Times on the table there, and I read through it. You know, it was the whole paper, cover to cover. And you know, I have to say, it is a damn good paper. It really is. I don't pay $2 for, what is it, $2, $2.50 newsstand? I don't know. I don't buy it. And I do check their website out every now and then, but it is a good paper. It really is well written. And, you know, you feel like you're reading an authoritative, high journalistic product. The Gamut. We're listening to The Gamut this morning. WTOP's HD3. Great music. Get your... For your HD radio, get your HD radio for that one signal only. Anyhow, getting back to my thing. Anyhow, I'm listening to reading the New York Times yesterday. I'm thinking, this is a good paper. It really is. You know, I don't buy it, but when I see it free at Starbucks, I'll pick it up, read it, and it's a great paper. They had an excellent little article yesterday about television in Haiti, which I found fascinating. Go over to NYT.com, NewYorkTimes.com, and find that one because it's a good article. It's a really good article. But anyhow, it brings me back to the old Washington Post. You know, I used to think the Washington Post was one of the better newspapers in the country, along with the New York Times. And I think over the last couple of years, there's been a lot of difference now between, you know, the New York Times, I think, is still up here as a good paper, where the Washington Post has fallen dramatically. You know, especially in their inside sections. You know, especially the style section. And I'm just looking at it again. Here's another perfect example of why the paper is mediocre. Okay, the reliable source gals who often get news 2 or 3 days after everybody else, and they write it up like, oh, breaking news. Jack Abramoff is going to do XM. Now, this news came out about a day or two ago, and it's been all over the place. But XM, you know, hey, it hasn't been called XM in two or 3 years. It's Sirius XM, okay? There is no XM radio anymore. It's Sirius XM. Sirius and XM merged. Sirius bought XM out, whatever you want to call it. So, you know, to say he's doing XM, come on, man. It's just mediocre. The disgraced super lobbyist debuted last month. Okay, he debuted last month as a talk radio host on XM Radio. It's just part-time for now, 5 to 8 a.m. on Sundays. Okay, first off, it's no longer called XM Radio. It's Sirius XM. And then they don't even tell you what channel it's on. You know, there isn't just a thing called XM Radio and it's one channel. So telling me it's on 5 to 8 p.m. or whatever it is on XM Radio tells me nothing. First off, it's Sirius XM. Second off, what's the channel? You know, there's hundreds of channels on Sirius XM, and they don't even tell you that. So here he started his show last month, and everybody got the story like a couple days ago, and here they are coming up with it. You know, it's like, it just, you know, again, it's no big super deal, but it's just you read this paper, and you just come away with the fact that it's half-baked. It just comes across like the reporting in it, especially when you get out of the main news section. It's just, you know, it's kind of like they're sitting around at the editorial meeting and they just don't quite understand. What are we going to cover today? And, well, the New York Times did that. I guess we can do it the next day. Interesting. I'm looking at Lisa DeMayonais's column today. You know, I like her column. Not much local stuff in it, but, you know, she does cover some national TV trends. And, of course, one of my current favorite show there, Breaking Bad, breaking season 5 this weekend. I'm looking forward to watching that. But they were talking about here how the folks on Dish Network, Dish Network dropped AMC a couple of days ago, a week or two ago, because it's not tired of paying all these rights fees, carriage fees to carry the channel. And they were talking about how DirecTV has also dropped a whole bunch of Viacom networks, including MTV and Nickelodeon, because again, these channels all want more and more money. And of course, the cable and satellite services, they push that on you. You know, every year you get that notice from your television provider, whether it be Comcast, Verizon, Cox, DirecTV, Dish Network, that says, hey, we're raising our rates, you know, and your package goes up a couple bucks every year. Every year, you know, I notice I pay in probably $7 to $10 more a year every year just to keep the same level of service. And the problem is the channels that we're getting are more and more mediocre, like the Washington Post. You know, it's not stuff you know. I mean, honestly, to be honest with you, okay, I wouldn't mind it if my cable provider Comcast dropped all of Viacom's networks. I could do just fine without MTV and VH1 and Nickelodeon and all those other channels. I don't watch TV Land. TV Land used to be a cool channel when it first started. It isn't anymore. I don't even watch the damn thing. You know, if they dropped all the Viacom channels and took a couple bucks off my cable bill, I'd say thank you, Comcast. You could probably drop a good chunk of those Discovery Channel channels. I mean that Discover America channel. You know, who watches that? You know. National Geographic used to be a good channel. They could drop that. I wouldn't mind losing that. You know, it's, again, I'm looking at my cable bill and I pay, you know, $60, $70 for this digital service I'm getting on Comcast TV. And I'll tell you, there's 150 channels on it, and I watch maybe 10 or 12 on a regular basis, and the others, I don't care. Go away. I don't want to pay for you. You know, I don't watch the kiddie channels. I don't watch the chick channels. I don't watch the Spanish channels. Most of the music channels I don't watch. You know, just take them away. I don't want them. You know, I'm not saying that they should be dropped from everybody's lineup because some people might like them. But me, how about getting to a cable service a cable system where I pay for just the channels I want? Now, that would be great. They should give you a list and say, here are all our channels, and they give you a little price by each channel, and now you pick all the channels you want. You know, and I'd take Turner Classic Movies, and I would probably take, you know, the Science Channel and a few others, click on a couple of the news channels, and and, you know, and then say, okay, then that's all I want, and that's all I want to get billed for, and that would be great. But, you know, that ain't going to happen because of the crooked idiots that run Comcast and Cox and Fios and DirecTV. They're all are, but at least what we're seeing now with these cable TV companies, but, you know, they know, the cable TV companies, the satellite providers know that their subscribers are getting fed up with paying these higher and higher and higher rates every year for channels that they think are more and more sucky. And at least we're starting to see now some of these cable operators, some of these satellite providers saying, wait a minute, we can't keep doing this. We can't keep running your mediocre channels and charging our subscribers more and more for them because they are cutting back their services. You know, so it's going to be interesting. Going to be very, very, very interesting. Okay, folks, what's some other biggie newsy? Some biggie newsy. J.R. Al-Array, or however he says it. He's the new morning man there on 87.7 WDCN, which is also known as La Nueva, one of the DC market's two major FM Spanish stations. Of course, La Nueva is actually a television station, Channel 6 analog, that uses the audio carrier 87.7 for their radio station. It remains to be seen how long the FCC is going to allow that. You know, the FCC a couple years ago required all television broadcasters, at least full power broadcasters, to switch over to digital, which means that digital audio you cannot pick up on that old car radio anymore. But they didn't. They said basically that low power stations, like what WDCN is, TV stations can still broadcast analog audio, which allows them to be heard on 87.7 on any old radio. So there. So you got WDCN 87.7 with JR in the mornings. He used to be the afternoon personality over there at El Zal, which used to be 99.1 and is now 107.9. Speaking of CBS Radio here in Washington, we're looking at the ratings for WNEW, the New All Newser, and in 6 months they haven't really done much. They're still down there in the 28th, 29th place or something like that. Slow climb, but very, very, very slow. And as I've said, you know, I give a lot of advice to radio stations. I give a lot of advice to WMAL. They don't take it, and their ratings suck. But WNEW should do a couple of things. And a couple of things they should do is a lot more advertising, especially on local television. I really think they should get up a lot more of a Facebook and a YouTube presence and put up a lot of videos that personalize their local air staff. You know, they got a lot of good people on that air staff, like Chaz Henry and Chaz Henry. They'd have a lot of cool people working over there. They need to introduce them to the people. And, you know, putting up a bunch of YouTube videos and, you know, get to know us kind of campaign. Maybe that should be their TV. Hey, we're the new newsroom in Washington. Get to know us. Really start hyping their air staff, you know, and letting people get personalized with them. You know, that's what they need to be doing. And you know, they really need to start doing something like that, other than getting a better signal, which, you know, who knows. You know, I still think they should be moved to 94.7. They also need to desperately need to get a better website. That Washington.cbslocal.com, CBSradio.com, whatever it's called, WashingtonCBSlocal.com. It's just not a very good website. It's just not built out. It's just not, you know, it's ad cluttered. Bananarama, Cruel Summer, great song. The Gamut, 107, 103, 5 HD, 2, 3, whatever. So anyhow, that's what they should do. They need a better website, okay? They need a WNEW.com that is not part of this CBS local crap. All right, folks, what are we at? 11 minutes. Got to stop. Got to pull the plug. Thanks for watching Dave TV. And I'm going to go in man, somebody please fix the Washington Post. Please fix it. So there.